I'm Rudy Shabazi in for Nichole Berlie tonight. It is Labor Day, Monday, September 6th. This is Rush Hour. Those top stories in just a moment. Tonight, we're also following Ida's aftermath in the Northeast, a major disaster declaration approved for New York and New Jersey as President Biden prepares to survey the damage firsthand. News Nation live on the ground as cleanup efforts continue tonight. In Colorado, a family left heartbroken and desperate for answers after a 6-year-old girl died on an amusement park ride. And it's not the first theme park death nationwide this summer. A prominent attorney shot in the head just months after he found his wife and son shot to death outside their home. And tonight he says he's further pulling back from public life as the South Carolina murder mystery deepens. But we begin tonight with an unthinkable crime committed in Florida. 4 people gunned down in cold blood. The youngest victim, just 3 months old. An 11-year-old still fighting for her life. Investigators say so far they found no connection between the suspected gunman and the victims he's accused of brutally murdering, leaving them to piece together what could have possibly motivated such a horrific tragedy. News Nation's Stacey De Silva from our Tampa affiliate, WFLA, was there as that suspect faced the judge today.
This has been an active crime scene all day. Detectives have been gathering evidence. Neighbors are walking around stunned. Meanwhile, a Tampa Bay man sits in jail accused of killing 4 people, including an infant. Before the sun came up, gunfire ripped through the still Sunday morning air. Liberty Ulrich captured it on his Nest camera. He heard it with his own ears, too.
None of this makes sense.
He lives across the street. Ulrich actually called this property home 2 decades ago, a home that's now a crime scene.
To find out it was random, and he literally could have just turned one driveway later, and it would have been a different outcome. That hits home.
Miguel Rivera thinks the killer knocked on his back door first Sunday morning.
God bless that family, all that had happened to them. I was thinking about mine. What would have happened if I would have opened that door? Authorities
say Marine and former sharpshooter Brian Riley killed 4 people on this property. A grandmother, 2 adults, and a 3-month-old baby boy. Officials do not know why Riley targeted this family. He also fired at law enforcement.
There was a lot of gunshots between the sheriffs and him, and I heard the sheriff's telling him to surrender, and so he finally did.
According to his affidavit, Riley told detectives he shot people on the property because, quote, God told him to do it. He called himself a sick guy and said he wanted to go to jail. According to the Polk County Sheriff, Riley told detectives he was on meth when he committed these crimes. He's now being held on no bond. He's also accused of shooting an 11-year-old girl up to 7 times. As of this afternoon, she was still listed in critical condition. I'm Stacey De Silva in Polk County, Florida. Back to you, Rudy Bay.
Stacey, thank you. And that community in Florida, far from the only one dealing with a weekend wave of gun violence. Felicia Bolton is here now with the numbers and the stories behind them. Felicia.
Rudy Bay, all of this is just heartbreaking. And just a few more examples for you guys tonight. In D.C., 3 people died and 3 were wounded in a mass shooting that happened this holiday weekend. In Georgia, 7 people were shot in a mass shooting. It happened around the same time. And then in Chicago, 5 people were killed. And more than 50 people were hurt in shootings across the city over Labor Day weekend. At least 8 of the victims were children.
He was a perfect kid. Like every parent loved him. Every parent would want a kid just like him.
One of this weekend's youngest victims, a 4-year-old boy shot in the head by a stray bullet in Chicago on Friday night, has died.
Babies can't sleep in their bedroom without getting shot in the head. Children can't play in bouncy houses with trying to help other children without getting targeted to be shot. What is this, the new norm? This stuff got to stop.
Data from the Gun Violence Archive shows nationwide there have already been more than 470 mass shootings in 2021 and more than 13,900 homicides. The Gun Violence Archive defines a mass shooting as 4 or more people shot in a single event, not including the shooter. In 2020, there were a total of 611 mass shootings for the entire year and 19,411 homicides. In 2019, 417 mass shootings and 15,448 homicides for the entire year. But these numbers do not answer the question, what can be done to stop the crime?
And let us sing together.
A group of Chicago grandmothers hope they have the answer. old-fashioned intervention on an individual basis.
Hallelujah. Amen. It's community. It's just ordinary people coming together, taking care of each other. And the way you stop the violence, we believe, is not by putting people in jail, but by going into their heart.
These women are literally camping outside Chicago public parks.
What I can do.
Meeting with people one-on-one, praying and spreading the message that violence is not the answer.
And there's no clear data why so much violence happens when people are off of work, but the stress of the pandemic has proven to be a tipping point for many people. Data does reveal that since the start of the pandemic, the purchase of guns and gun violence have increased to all-time highs in the U.S.
Such a troubling time for so many people. Felicia, thank you. A major disaster declaration has been approved for New York and New Jersey days after the remnants of Hurricane Ida brought terrifying flooding to the area. President Biden ordering federal aid to shore up recovery efforts. Those efforts at a very early stage tonight, and the president will see that firsthand. He'll visit the stricken areas tomorrow. News Nation Tom Negevin is live in Manville, New Jersey, where the storm hit very hard. Tom.
It sure did, Ruta Bay. And Manville is one of the spots President Biden is expected to visit tomorrow. They're preparing for that visit right now. The cleanup here will be underway for a very long time. And police here tell us they have a new issue to deal with tonight, protecting this area from looters. You've got to see it from the air to truly see it. Entire communities flooded. Homes burning. In the aftermath, the Garden State assessing the damage estimated tonight in the tens of billions. Neighbors joining together in Queens, New York this long weekend, not just to help with the cleanup, but with supplies like food and clothing. Some residents here not ready yet to look at what's left of their homes.
Somebody wants to go down there. It's
Look at the inside.
Yeah, it's very bad.
And new from the NYPD, images of heroism during last week's downpour. It's a futile effort, dangerous too, but these officers try just the same. With no equipment, the power still on, the water still rising, repeatedly diving into the unknown, hoping to rescue a family of 3 who ultimately could not be saved.
I think it's absolutely devastating that a family lost a loved one because of a flood in their own home. That is actually heart-sickening to me.
And that NYPD body cam video getting a lot of attention over the last couple of days, as it well should. An act of heroism there in Queens. The president will be there tomorrow. He'll be here in Manville. That emergency declaration he's approved means that residents and business owners across the Northeast Rutabaga can apply for a variety of grants and programs under FEMA.
Much needed. Tom, thank you. People in Louisiana are still struggling after Ida 2. 500,000 people are without power as temperatures hit 87 degrees today. Crews have been working for 8 days to bring the numbers down. More than 900,000 were in the dark immediately after the storm. Almost 26,000 workers from 40 states have been working day and night to get people back online. And according to the power company, some parishes aren't expected to get their power back until the end of the month. Meantime, the New Orleans Health Department says 5 people living at senior living facilities were found dead during wellness checks after Hurricane Ida. And now the mayor is pointing her finger at the New Orleans Archdiocese for leaving people in what she called deplorable conditions. She says it owns 6 of the senior living centers under investigation by the health department. The health department helped evacuate more than 600 elderly residents from living facilities before the storm. Kenny Lopez with our New Orleans station WGNO is at a local grocery store tonight where people are trying to restock their basic needs. Kenny.
Grocery stores in our area are now open, and as expected, the lines are long.
At the Rouses in uptown New Orleans, people are patiently waiting in line outside to get their groceries. Even the lines inside to check out are long. Customers say they have a good stock of supplies and they need groceries really bad right now since they had to throw away everything in their fridges and freezers. Despite the stress of waiting in line, folks are making the most of it.
We're trying to get through it day by day.
But ultimately, people say the line's moving pretty fast. They're only waiting about 20 minutes. Rutabaga, back to you.
Thank you. And let's turn now to Albert Ramon in the Weather Center. And Albert, we are still feeling Ida's impact, even though the storm is long gone.
And something to keep in mind, Ruta Bay, the peak of hurricane season starts this week, Friday, September 10th. Historically, if we look at climatology, is when we see the most action across the Atlantic basin. And speaking of action, let me show you the big monitor tonight. 2 areas of interest. One is a major Hurricane Larry in the Atlantic. Much more on that in a second. But let's start here in the Gulf of Mexico. Just north of the Yucatan Peninsula is a tropical wave. And over the next few days, this will drift to the north and eventually off towards the northeast. Right now, a 30% chance that this tropical wave could become our next depression or storm. I think right now for the central and also northeast Gulf Coast, it's a rainmaker second half of this work week. We'll keep an eye on it. Look at this one. Larry with a huge eye tonight in the Atlantic Ocean. This is tracking off towards the north, 125-mile-per-hour winds. Bermuda is out of the forecast cone. That's the good news. Notice how this takes a sharp north and then eventually a northeast turn late this week and a weekend in the cooler waters of the North Atlantic. Larry, not a threat to the United States, and that's good news. Ruta Bay?
That is good news. Still no one wants to see that. Albert, thank you. Tonight, 4 more Americans are out of Afghanistan as the Taliban takes a final unconquered province. With Panjshir in the northeast, the group now controls the entire country. News Nation's Washington, D.C. correspondent Evan Lambert is in the Capitol tonight. And Evan, what do we know about these Americans who were able to escape, and what's next for the Taliban?
Well, Ruta Bay, the State Department is confirming that these are the first Americans out of Afghanistan since that August 31st withdrawal. All this as the Taliban announces that it will form a new government. The Taliban says they now control Panjshir province, the last holdout in their stunningly quick takeover of the country. Also Monday, U.S. Representative Ronnie Jackson in a tweet identifying the 4 Americans, a State Department spokesman said the U.S. evacuated by land to a third country. Details of the evacuation were not available, but in a statement, a spokesman said, quote, "On September 6th, we facilitated the safe departure of 4 U.S. citizens from Afghanistan via an overland route. U.S. Embassy personnel were present to greet them as they crossed out of Afghanistan," end quote. White House Chief of Staff Ron Klain appearing on CNN Sunday saying about 100 Americans remain in Afghanistan after the chaotic evacuation and the war ended August 31st.
We're in touch with all of them who we've identified on a regular basis. Obviously, we're hopeful that in the coming days, the Qataris will be able to resume air service out of Kabul, and if they do, we're obviously going to look to see if Americans can be part of those flights. We are going to find ways to get them.
Meanwhile, the Taliban says it is days away from announcing a new government, almost 20 years after 9/11. The reason for U.S. involvement there in the first place.
Efforts are being made to do the basic work. I hope we will see the announcement of the government in the next few nights.
And the Secretary of State, the Secretary of Defense are in Qatar right now, meeting with leaders, hoping that that country will help with further evacuations. Back to you.
Evan, thank you. What was supposed to be a day of fun ended in tragedy for one Colorado family. Their 6-year-old died on a ride at Glenwood Caverns Adventure Park yesterday. The park is closed today as authorities investigate. And that's where we find Vicente Arenas from our Denver station. And Vicente, describe the ride that the child was on.
This is a ride that people describe as one of the scariest they've ever been on. It happens so fast. It's atop a 7,000-foot mountain, and it drops about 110 to 120 feet. Imagine that you're at this amusement park on the very top of a very tall mountain here in Colorado. You get in this and you sit with several other people, and then it just drops into a natural mine shaft. It is breathtaking. We've talked to so many people who said that they're concerned about the restraint system on these seats. Although we don't know what caused this accident yesterday that caused the death of the 6-year-old girl. So many people this afternoon that I've been talking to who were here at the park yesterday say this was a scary ride, and they're worried that this restraint system may not be safe enough.
It seemed extremely terrifying to me. It feels like you're going to come out of the seat. It feels very unsecure.
This isn't the first report of death and serious injury at amusement parks this summer. In July, an 11-year-old drowned at an amusement park in Iowa when his raft overturned on a water ride. and a 14-year-old girl was drowned at a park in Ohio. And then just a few weeks ago, a woman was severely injured at Ohio's Cedar Point when a metal bracelet flew off a ride and hit her in her head. Back here at this park in Colorado, it is shut down today and tomorrow. State investigators are expected to come out here and try to figure out what happened. That 6-year-old girl was from Colorado Springs. She has not been identified yet. Ruta Bay, back to you.
Thank you for that report. Well, it is the unofficial end of summer, and people across the country are taking advantage of the last few hours of Labor Day weekend. Some scenes from around the country right now. Here is a live look at Seaside Heights, New Jersey. Folks, they're strolling along the boardwalk. In the Midwest, in St. Joseph, Michigan, beachgoers enjoying the last bit of sun along Lake Michigan. And in the West, people in Del Mar Beach, California, still making the most of their long weekend despite the cloudy conditions there. But as yet another holiday passes during this pandemic, the fear of a possible spike in cases lingers. News Nation correspondent Nancy Liu is live in Los Angeles tonight. And Nancy, health experts are expecting to see a surge, right?
Yeah, that's right, Ruta Bay. That's the prediction as millions of Americans head back out on the roads and up into the skies with the holiday weekend wrapping up. After several days of potential super spreader events, health experts fear a deadly start to fall. After a weekend of grilling and gathering for college football and high school football, parades, parties, and events of all kinds, health officials everywhere are dreading the COVID-19 impact.
We know it's going to show up, so we just really have to wait and see. But we're not optimistic that we're going to see any downturns in the trends anytime within the next 4 weeks.
An especially discouraging sign was outside the Arkansas game, where a vaccination clinic went completely ignored.
No one came by today. No one even asked any questions, to be quite honest. So
the CDC is forecasting that COVID deaths could surge to nearly 19,000 in the 4-week period ending September 25th, with more than half of those deaths predicted later this month. Case numbers were in a slight downward trend heading into the long weekend.
I think we can just right now hope for the best, hope people are using what I call good COVID common sense.
The CDC had advised unvaccinated Americans not to travel over the holiday weekend, but it's hard to tell whether any plans changed. Roads have been congested and flights have been full.
I had COVID in February and double immunity with the vaccine. So, yeah, no, I'm not too worried.
Now, last year, Labor Day weekend preceded an especially viral and deadly period leading up to Thanksgiving. It's hoped that with vaccinations this year, that will prevent a repeat. Ruta Bay?
Nancy, thank you. And still to come tonight on Rush, a prominent attorney who discovered his wife and son gunned down finds himself in the shooter's crosshairs. The new twist in this South Carolina murder mystery. Plus, we take you live to Hollywood for a closer look at how the world is remembering Michael K. Williams, the beloved actor known for his roles on shows like The Wire and Boardwalk Empire, found dead earlier today. But first, pandemic-era unemployment benefits have officially expired for more than 11 million Americans. Will it lead to a surge in hiring? We're live with one small business's story. That's next. Today, federal unemployment programs created by the CARES Act expired, ending at least some expanded benefits for about 11 million people. Nearly 9 million people, mostly gig workers, the self-employed, and people who have been out of work for more than 6 months will lose their weekly benefits, and more than 2 million more Americans will also lose their weekly $300 federal supplemental unemployment checks. The cuts come as the Delta variant poses a renewed threat to the economy. Still, some hope that without expanded unemployment payments, there may be a surge in new job applicants. News Nation's Aaron Nolan is live tonight in Arkansas. And Aaron, business owners say they need the workers.
Yeah, Ruta Bay, the restaurant industry has been hit hard by the pandemic, but now businesses both large and small are putting out the help wanted signs once again. Now, our example comes from this burger joint in Arkansas, where they had to close a second location because of the pandemic, but there is hope that new hires are on the way. Thanks, guys. Everybody's kind of got a plan, and you're plugging along, and life is good, and it just kind of all fell apart on us.
Since March of 2020, everything has changed for small businesses like Feltner Brothers in Fayetteville, Arkansas.
The last 2 years have really been a hit on the soul, man. You really gotta fight.
The business of burgers has been with these brothers since birth. In the 60s, Bob Feltner founded one of the most well-known sandwich shops in the state. His grandsons followed suit. But overcoming COVID and its effects on business have been tough to take, especially when trying to fill out the workforce.
The issue is that we can find high school kids and college kids, but they can only work a certain amount of time. But the full-timers that need this to help support their family, we just aren't able to find them right now.
2 federal unemployment programs expire today. 9 million Americans will be scrambling to fill the income void. The hope is these job seekers will walk in and want to work. An optimistic thought for this burger brother.
Come on in. We'll start moving towards building up our staff because it is pretty depleted right now.
Now, not everyone agrees that this could build back the workforce. We did speak with an expert, a professor from Duke University's School of Business, who says we're not going to see an increase in workforce until we see an increase in COVID vaccinations. Rudabeh?
Aaron, thank you. And still to come on Rush Hour tonight, firefighters gaining the ground on the Caldor fire, allowing tens of thousands of people who evacuated to return home. How the western wildfires are still managing to impact places not scorched by flames. Plus, months after finding his wife and son shot and killed, a prominent South Carolina attorney finds himself the target of a gunman. What the attorney decided just today after surviving this weekend's attempt on his life. Thanks for joining us. Here's what's happening in your nation now. A judge has ordered a former Marine sharpshooter to be held without bond, accused in the shooting of a Florida family that left several people dead. Authorities say Brian Riley broke into a random home and then shot and killed a woman, her 3-month-old baby, and 2 others. An 11-year-old girl who was shot 7 times is the only survivor. Investigators did not give a motive for the attack, but they say Riley may have a mental illness. He told them he was high on methamphetamine at the time. President Biden has approved major disaster declarations for parts of New York and New Jersey devastated by flooding from the remnants of Hurricane Ida. That means more federal aid will be available to help people clean up and recover. The storm killed at least 27 people in New Jersey and 13 in New York City. The president plans to visit both states tomorrow. With the reported fall of Afghanistan's final holdout province, the Taliban now control the entire country. Earlier today, the Taliban said they had taken control of Panjshir, which sits just north of Kabul, solidifying their rule. Meantime, the State Department has confirmed the U.S. has successfully helped 4 American citizens flee the country. Investigators working to determine the cause of death after a 6-year-old girl mysteriously died while on a theme park ride in Colorado. The girl's identity has not been released, but the coroner's office said she was on vacation with her family. That 6-year-old is at least the 3rd child to die at an amusement park this summer. A new development tonight in the double murder mystery involving a prominent South Carolina family. The father, a well-known attorney, now saying he will resign from his law firm and check himself into a rehab facility. All of this after he was the target of a shooting over the weekend. News Nation's Janelle Fort has been following this case and joins us now live with the latest developments. And Janelle, this story just keeps getting stranger.
Absolutely, Rudabeh. This case out of South Carolina involving the Murdaugh family has gotten national attention 3 months after finding his wife and son murdered. Alex Murdaugh may have been the target of an ambush over the weekend. He's now recovering from a gunshot wound to the head, and in a new statement says that he is withdrawing from the public eye.
Tonight, Alex Murdaugh breaking his silence, releasing this statement through a spokesperson saying, quote, "The murders of my wife and son have caused an incredibly difficult time in my life. I've made a lot of decisions that I truly regret. I'm resigning from my law firm and entering rehab after a long battle that has been exacerbated by these murders. I'm immensely sorry to everyone I've hurt, including my family, friends, and colleagues." Murdaugh is recovering after being shot along a country road Saturday. It's the latest twist in the double murder case from June when he found his son and wife shot and killed at the family's hunting cabin.
It's 4147 Moselle Road. I've been up to it now. It's bad.
Okay. Okay, and are they breathing?
No, ma'am.
Okay, and you said it's your wife and your son?
My wife and my son.
At the time, 22-year-old Paul Murdaugh was facing charges in connection with the boating accident that left 19-year-old Mallory Beach dead. Paul was allegedly operating the boat under the influence of alcohol. The Murdaugh family has deep roots in the area's legal system. Paul's grandfather and generations before that served as the region's top prosecutor, leading some to question if Paul Murdaugh would face trial or jail time on the charges. Many wondered if the murders were a form of vigilante justice. On Saturday, Alex Murdaugh told police he had a flat tire along a country road, and when he got out to fix the tire, a pickup truck pulled up and opened fire. Murdaugh suffered a superficial head wound and was able to call for help. State investigators spent the day combing the area and say they found 7 shell casings at the scene. His attorney has said Murdaugh is speaking from his hospital bed, and a family spokesperson released this statement saying, quote, "The Murdaugh family has suffered through more than any one family could ever imagine. We expect Alex to recover and ask for your privacy while he recovers."
Now, police have not released any named 4 suspects in Saturday's shooting. The family is offering a $100,000 reward for any information leading to arrest in the double shooting of Paul Murdaugh and his mother, Ruta Bay.
And Janelle, this is such a deep story because while investigating the murders of Paul and his mother, police came across information that led them to reopen another case regarding the death of Stephen Smith. Is there anything new on that?
Well, Ruta Bay, apparently during that investigation, it was a 2015 accident that killed the 19-year-old, and the Murdaugh name was brought up several times during that investigation with interviews with Smith's family and his friends, but no member of the Murdaugh family was ever implicated in that case. And at this time, police have not released any new information on that case either.
All right, Janelle, it's a complicated case. Thank you. Thousands of people who were forced to evacuate South Lake Tahoe as the Caldor fire approached are now being allowed back into their homes as firefighters gain ground on the massive wildfire. But local leaders say even though the flames didn't reach them, they still felt the fire's impact this holiday weekend. News Nation's Garjapo Sangha from our Sacramento station KTXL has more.
In a matter of months, South Lake Tahoe went from a busy tourist town to a smoke-filled ghost town, only filled with first responders. The Labor Day weekend is one of the busier holidays for the region, but because of the closure, businesses stand to lose millions.
It's been a couple of gut punches for local businesses. In 48 years at Tahoe, I have not seen anything like this in terms of the layering of multiple crises on top of one another, and I've never seen the wholesale evacuation of the South Shore.
The Labor Day weekend usually brings up to 100,000 visitors to the region. South Lake Tahoe Mayor Tamara Wallace says the timing isn't helping local businesses.
The economic impact of this, plus you have a huge holiday weekend, sort of our last hurrah for summer. I would say it's upwards of $50 million.
Mayor Wallace, who has worked closely with local Chamber of Commerce, says she has spoken with area businesses who are barely holding on.
This has been an interesting last 18 months, to say the least, with COVID, bouncing back from COVID, and now this. We need a break for sure.
But Wallace and Teixeira amazed at the efforts firefighters have made to save homes and businesses in the Tahoe Basin. A little good news during these difficult times.
Better to lose a holiday than, the entire community.
Garjapo Sangha, News Nation.
And let's get back to Albert Ramon now in the Weather Center. And Albert, the winds have started to calm down around the Dixie and Caldor fires, but the conditions could get gusty again this weekend.
Yeah, especially the next few evenings. We could have some wind gusts, Ruta Bay, where those fires are burning 20 to 25 miles per hour. Let me show you the red flag warnings. These are the warnings that are issued when we have high fire danger. And across the Rockies, northern Rockies into the Great Plains, places like South Dakota, North Dakota, those are in place through this evening. And then for tomorrow, a few counties here in northern sections of California, South Central Oregon, those are red flag warnings for Tuesday for the potential some wind gusts there up to 35 miles per hour. Now, the other big story that we're tracking striking out west is the intense heat, especially in California and across the Southwest. We have active heat advisories across the Central Valley of California into the mountains of Southern California and across the Mojave Desert. Those are excessive heat warnings in effect. Las Vegas right now at 105, but near record heat tomorrow in Vegas at about 107. We're looking at temperatures potentially around Death Valley as hot as 120, not just this afternoon, but maybe even that hot tomorrow. And then it looks like this heat will expand back off towards the east latter part of the week. So by the time we head into Wednesday and Thursday, temperatures not just above average in places like Salt Lake City and also in Denver, but potentially even some record-breaking heat in those locations as well. And it looks like even next week could be just as hot. The 6 to 10 day outlook showing much of the country above average when it comes to temperatures, but below average in terms of rainfall, the exception for those that are living right along the coast in Texas and even portions of Louisiana. Ruta Bay.
All right, Albert, thank you. Still ahead tonight on Rush Hour, News Nation takes you to the southern border for a bird's eye view of the ongoing migrant crisis, an in-depth look at the tools that CBP agents have at their disposal. Plus, how Hollywood is paying tribute to Michael K. Williams, the beloved actor found dead earlier today. That and more coming up in Entertainment Nation. A unique perspective tonight at the southern border. Agents aren't just keeping an eye on the ground, they're also watching from above. News Nation Salvador Rivera takes us to the skies.
This is a view Agent Mark M. has almost on a daily basis from his 350 A-Star Customs and Border Protection helicopter. For security reasons, we can't reveal his full name, but we can certainly tell you about his job, or better yet, we'll let Brandon Tucker describe it.
He's able to provide overhead visual capability to our Border Patrol agents on the ground.
Tucker is the Deputy Director of Air Operations in San Diego for Customs and Border Protection. Mark is part of it. One of his jobs is to work with agents down below.
We get that helicopter overhead and we can provide that eye in the sky with direct radio communications with Border Patrol agents on the ground. A typical border enforcement mission in the A-Star helicopter, they're flying relatively low to the ground in the mountainous regions. And San Diego is unique in that we've got the urban environment where we've got the border wall in place, and as well as the Otay Mountains and into the desert toward El Centro. So we've got a pretty diverse border enforcement mission set here in San Diego, and oftentimes where they're called out is those remote areas in the Otay Mountains and east, where it's difficult for Border Patrol agents to get in, where they've got groups of undocumented non-citizens that they need to get into, and that's where the A-Star helicopter really helps out a lot.
Another of Mark's responsibilities is helping stranded migrants. On this day, he flew over agents and fire personnel who came to the aid of a man who got injured after falling from the border barrier. Mark told us there's been times when he's landed his helo to provide water and medical attention to stranded migrants. Air and Marine Ops also uses Black Hawk helicopters, which have more capabilities.
And its advantages are we're able to airlift in Border Patrol Borstar to provide medical services for migrants in distress. We can also provide fast roping for BORTAC teams to insert them in different rugged locations where vehicles can't get in there. But we also have a hoist capability so that we can actually perform rescues with distressed migrants that are in bad shape that we need to get to medical service providers quickly.
Another big focus for the helicopters, due to the increase in maritime smuggling events, are boats carrying both drugs and/or humans. Pilots like Mark are being called out to provide cover for agents who are intercepting smugglers on the water. From the air, they can give chase until the boats arrived. They also help with rescue operations should migrants go in the water, like we saw back in May, when 3 people died and more than 24 were injured when their boat hit some rocks along the San Diego shoreline.
Any of the criminal organizations, they are marketing their services, so to speak, to these migrants who have never been sometimes on a boat. I don't think it's worth any amount of money to be smuggled, especially here in the maritime environment, because it can be so unforgiving.
Salvador Rivera, Border Report.
Still to come tonight on Rush Hour, a record-breaking performance at the box office for Marvel's latest superhero flick. Just how much money Shang-Chi and the Legend of the Ten Rings raked in this holiday weekend. In entertainment news tonight, fans are mourning the death of Michael K. Williams. The actor, most known for his role on The Wire, was found dead at just 54 years old. News Nation's Doug Kolk from KTLA in Los Angeles is with us now. And Doug, do we know what happened?
We know this is shocking news. I mean, Michael K. Williams, a terrific actor. We, of course, know him from The Wire and Boardwalk Empire. He was found dead in his Brooklyn penthouse for what is suspected to be a drug overdose. Now, it was said that a relative hadn't heard from him in a few days, went to go check on him, and when they did, they found him in his living room surrounded by drug paraphernalia. Sources close to the situation say that it may have been heroin or fentanyl that may have caused the 54-year-old to overdose.
So tragic. He was such a talented person. And actor Stanley Tucci has revealed that he was quietly battling cancer 3 years ago. Is he okay now?
The good news is, yes, this was 3 years ago and the cancer is in remission. But wow, Stanley Tucci dropping this bombshell over the weekend. And it all came out in the Virgin Atlantic Flight magazine, of all places. That's where the actor revealed that he had a tumor on the base of his tongue. He says that it was too big to operate, so he had to do high doses of radiation and chemotherapy, and he had to feed from a tube for 6 months. But the great news here, he says that the likelihood of the cancer coming back is slim to none.
Unbelievable. You never really know what's going on behind the scenes. And finally, it was a big weekend for the box office once again. As the movie industry tries to rebound from these pandemic lows, Marvel actually broke Labor Day records with its new movie, Shang-Chi.
Well, Ruta Bay, it feels good to report on box office numbers, right? It's almost like we're coming back. Yeah, that was the case for the Marvel film Shang-Chi and the Legend of the Ten Rings. Took in an estimated $71.4 million over the weekend in ticket sales. This is Marvel's first Asian American superhero film. It ranks as one of the best debuts for a Marvel film. The only film beating it this year has been Black Widow, which is also a Marvel film. That took in $80.3 million. But Cinderella, on the other hand, also opened this weekend, but that went straight to Amazon Prime. It was the #1 film on the streaming service, but it was playing to mixed reviews. Critics praising the diversity, but I quote, calling it mediocre musical with cringeworthy dialogue and very forgettable. Very harsh words there.
I thought it looked good. I was excited to see that one. All right, Doug, thank you. And as many families trying to sneak in a last-minute summer trip, a new attraction is coming to Las Vegas. It's a new high-tech ride that riders say makes it feel like you're flying. News Nation's Rich DeMuro checks it out.
A new ride in Las Vegas gives you the sensation of flying over popular landmarks in the West. It's called Flyover, and recently I got on board. On the Las Vegas Strip, tucked down a long, calming hallway, is a new adventure. So this is the hallway where you kind of decompress from the Strip. Right. It's a ride called Flyover. They brought me here to Las Vegas to be among the first to check it out.
You actually feel like you're flying.
The experience starts in an area themed like the bottom of a canyon.
The bar is called the Lost Cactus.
I flew the real Wild Wild West. There's also a ride for Iceland. All right, here we are inside where the ride all happens. You've got this giant screen right here. You sit in chairs that move in front of a huge immersive screen.
As you're sitting in the chair, the movements of the chair, we have 6 points of axes. And so those points will move you with the film.
It's kind of fun to be in here all by myself. It's similar to the experience of Disney's Soarin'.
Oh, wow. The concept is that you are the head of the bird and the machine are the wings. So you literally feel like you're flying like a bird through all of these places.
And let me give you a little secret. There's more than meets the eye on this ride. If you look up here, there's a little mister, some scents, some wind in your face. Smells good. The ride takes you over recognizable sights. Great view of the Golden Gate Bridge. It's an experience that's invigorating and inspiring. The way that you saw some of these places in that film, you'd never be able to experience as a regular human being. But once you're in that seat, on that ride, it's a whole nother way to look at things.
People are so happy. Most of them want to ride again. A lot of them don't want to leave the seat. Like, can we just stay here and go again?
There's even one part of the ride where you feel like you're going upside down, although you actually don't. Flyover is fun for the entire family. It's on the Las Vegas Strip, and it's open right now. All right, if you want more information, you can find me on social media. I am at Rich on Tech. I'm Rich DeMuro, News Nation, Los Angeles.
Coming up, one more check of some top stories making headlines around your nation. We continue now live from our News Nation headquarters in Chicago. Here's a look at what's going on in your nation now. The Minnesota State Patrol purged emails and texts immediately after protests over the death of George Floyd. That's according to testimony from a State Patrol major in a lawsuit that alleges the agency targeted journalists during the unrest. The information came out during a hearing in July. A transcript of that hearing just posted on Friday. A spokesman for the State Patrol challenged the claim, saying officers follow standard procedure on saving data. Investigators are trying to determine whether law enforcement used improper force against demonstrators. The Justice Department says it plans to protect women and others seeking access to reproductive health services in Texas following the state's adoption of a new law that bans most abortions. Attorney General Merrick Garland said the federal government is exploring all options to challenge the law. Meantime, it plans to enforce the Freedom of Access to Clinic Entrances Act, which prohibits interfering with a person seeking reproductive health services. Family members of those killed when their plane was shot down over eastern Ukraine in 2018 are finally having their say in court. They accused Moscow of lying about its alleged role in the downing of Malaysian Airlines Flight 17 during the Dutch trial of 4 suspects. International investigators concluded the plane, which was on its way to Kuala Lumpur from Amsterdam, was brought down by a missile fired by pro-Russian rebels. 3 Russians and a Ukrainian citizen are on trial, charged with the murder. Moscow has denied responsibility. It was expected, and now it is official. The Houston Texans have named Tyrod Taylor their starting quarterback. That puts former All-Pro Deshaun Watson on the bench. Watson, who requested a trade in January, is accused in several civil lawsuits of sexual assault and inappropriate behavior. And that is all for Rush Tonight. Up next, the Donlin Report. Later tonight, On Balance with Leland Bittert, News Nation Prime, and Banfield. Check all the headlines anytime at newsnationnow.com.